You're low on
Flats,
health.
my guy, stop being neutral in the war, brother. You know the answer. You knew it then. I love you, buddy. You knew it then, and god damn it, you know it now.
At the end of the stream, please remind me. I'll go.
Flats got more of this right than I did when I talked about this, which is crazy. I didn't even think about the psychological elements of like solo tank. I just thought about the interactions in game. Star Wars Hunters Season 2 is out right now. We did a previous integration with them on the channel where we kind of talked about their Season 1. It's 4v4 third-person combat, and there's different character types. Like you could pick a tank character, you could pick a damage character, for example. You could pick a support character. There's just 3 different types. You guys get how the hero shooters kind of work. It takes place in the world of Star Wars, right? So a lot of the big locations are actually inspired by important parts of Star Wars. So you really feel like you're in the world of Star Wars. It's super cool. There's unique costumes, animations, weapon wraps, multiple PvP modes. It's available on platforms like the Switch, iOS, and Android. Every bit of information you guys need is going to be down in the description, and it helps the channel out a ton if you guys go check out these games. And it's freaking Star Wars, guys. Like, it's a Star Wars like game that's played on a ton of different devices. So it would really help me and the channel out if you guys would check them out, because this is how we pay for all of our channel managers and different things that get videos out. So please go support Star Wars Hunters. There's not enough support going out for game devs nowadays. Everything you need is down in the description. Go check them out. Thank you all for sponsoring today's video.
Other players are doing on the battlefield. Removing 2 of those simplifies everything, and it allows players to understand everything that's happening around them and to be able to make better choices because of it. This change obviously has a really big impact on tanks, and we will get into some of the changes that we're making to tanks and to some of the other roles in a bit. But tanks can be problematic. They're a DPS hero is simple. They're shooting, but a tank has abilities that can be noisy, or when stacked with other tanks can cause problems for other teams to try to overcome and counter. Like, and a great example of that is 2 main tanks on the field. Sometimes that can be very oppressive to
just hearing. I'm not even gonna.
Another team. I think with five players out there is a greater chance of certain people being able to carry.
I don't want to be critical, but did they just say 2 main tanks is oppressive?
There's 3.
Like I said, I was pretty sure they weren't going to do 5v5.
I was pretty sure too.
Even early on,
I was like confident. Like, no, I don't think they're going to do that. But they did it.
Format of the game.
They did it.
And we always had some problems with them. And
that's just a lack of understanding. Double main tank has never been good.
Has really run with.
We've always placed what we consider cover.
I want to see much more first person.
I want to see how like the op tanks play this.
I was gonna say I want to see more first person in this. Like I want to see like this. Like I don't want to see like as much top down.
Now with 5v5,
like I understand, like, you know, obviously Ryan's gonna be played and Winston. I want to see how like how's Diva gonna be now? How is Zarya gonna be? You know, what have they done to like Sigma? I want to see that type of stuff too, because I think that's important.
If you look at Kings in general,
I'm gonna.
Imong, don't worry, brother. They'll giga buff all their stats and leave them as is, man.
Like,
section.
I mean, the Winston and the Ryan are literally useless. I'm watching how them play. Like it's not like I'm against them, but like they're play. Like you can't do anything with this. They're not even being used. Like if you actually just took them off the field right now, the game would be playing the exact same. That's my problem right now.
Stuff like that.
The game is not changed. Like, sorry, the game has changed. The tanks that are on the field right now are not even being used. Like you could legitimately just remove the Winston and the Reinhardt. It would be the same exact game right now.
You can take. Something we saw at BlizzCon Line was the 2 fire strike charge.
I think that's why they're gonna have the Overwatch League players play it later, probably.
Jeff, when we were
that's what I'm assuming is gonna happen.
My Winston on live, not able to shoot at range. Can you explain that?
Overwatch Light, dude.
Yeah, I was wondering if people picked up on that. So we were first watching Winston there. This is an example of some of the tank changes we're talking about in regards to 5v5, but also a larger.
We need to find my reaction to this, guys.
A lot more aggressive, be able to be a little more heavy on the damage side and less just raw protection. So on Winston's,
they can't even go in.
I really wish I had my dude. I remember going off on stream that night and being like, dude, this is not the fucking answer. All they have to do is nerf a couple characters and this is fine. Granted, like Q times were the main reason they did this, allegedly. But
Unfortunately,
they just said like make tanks more aggressive, but the Winston jumped in one time and only got 500 HP on his primal.
Charge up like
you can't play him more aggressive. It's the same thing.
Fired off as a single sort of like blast attack at longer range.
Like watch his health pool. His health pool's just getting chunked.
The charge up is kind of interesting with it for him because you can do it while you're leaping, and so there's like theoretically more burst combos you can do where you're jumping on top of somebody, charging up in the air, and burst, release it right before you land on them, and then you get the stomp damage too. And you're like, well, I'm gonna get blasted probably if I just like run away, so I have to be able to survive that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the decisions all Winston players face. It's like, okay, I've jumped on this player, I've gotten them weak. I can either now get out of my bubble and try to finish them off, or just kind of hope a teammate does. But now giving him, I think it kind of goes back to more like that player, agency that you were talking about, being able to kind of take over the game, being able to finish it off.
More player agency, yeah.
This nano boost in Ryan. This will never.
That was the most useful the tank has been so far.
just seeing Reinhardt nano boosted, just swinging. I'm sure it makes the fans out there happy that I know that was a dragon blade.
Not really, because that's normal.
Able to take out his. It's kind of the bane of existence of a lot of people.
Less than they had before. But then in response to that, we get to.
Flats is like me.
Here. You get you hit the wall right there. You can cancel it. But you can cancel your charge, and you can get two.
Who cares? You're gonna cancel. He still would have died.
So he's canceling charges.
Like, this is what I'm saying. This is why dude. This is what I'm saying. Okay. Just the lack of understanding of the game from Team 4 when all of these decisions were made. Like, Flats is watching this for the first time ever and immediately picking up on, like, what a lot of the big problems would be. Immediately. And this is why I'm saying, like, their pipeline, wherever they were getting information from about how the game worked or whatever, it was just wrong. It was just wrong. Now, from a systematic standpoint, like systems and stuff, I'm sure they have that unlocked, but they've never understood the core gameplay. They never understood what made the core game feel amazing, especially the higher up you went. What captured Overwatch being special. And I said this for a long time. Like he's not sugarcoating it, which shout out to him, but just look, guys, but look at how different, and this is nothing about Flats at all in particular, but like, look at how different our community's reaction was to when it first came out to when over time things happened. It's interesting psychology. Because I think it's that people deep down want to defend what they love. And I understand that, right? Like, we all love the game. I think we just disagree on how the game should become better. Some of us. There's some people out there who are just like chronic haters. But, you know, it's pretty crazy, man. It's pretty crazy.
Those like sneaky things that seems like to some people
like
might be
Flats
kind
picks
of a
up on
minor
it
change,
immediately.
but it almost like completely changes how he plays a lot of ways. It's actually really fun because you can it has a really fast recovery when you cancel, so you can like charge up to a group and then cancel and immediately ult and just like knock everyone down. So
it's,
the
like
fact
how
that
did
do that
like
is own now,
like the fact, like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it, the fact that like Jeff Goodman and his team missed this goes to prove everything I said about like their play tests, their knowledge of the actual game. Like, I'm sure those people knew how to design and put out characters, but they had no idea, no clue how to healthily put them in the game, or frankly understood their product at all. And like, listening to them describe tank play just lets you think, what were they testing internally to make this, like, you know, like, this is, they were either lying to the camera or they had no idea. And the answer is that they had no idea.
Sort of minigame that.
Knock cooldown. You're never gonna make it.
Yeah, like,
people know you have your ult,
like, dude,
Wait,
look
how
at
are you
this.
run up to them and shatter when you don't have a bubble?
Like, they don't want to fight you necessarily like normally because they don't want to get earth shattered. So sometimes you can like bluff people and are running for cover and you didn't even have it, or you save it or something. So, and it also just allows him to, you know, get in there and be more aggressive without sacrificing his health bar.
Yeah, it just sounds like another change, almost like how you kind of mentioned like stuff like that.
You gotta remember though, we don't even know what the new heroes are either.
As you're playing and
so there could be some tanks that have like some really cool like
yeah, where the Winston combo you can load up that.
Dude, Imong with like the world, they Flats knows it right now, but Imong, like, their world is burning down around them. Like, the fun they're gonna have is literally getting thrown in. Like, the cope, and this is where I love Imong so much, dude. Like, the whole house could be on fire around this dude. The whole house could be on fire around this dude, and he would sit there and be like, well, at least we got our shoes on, you know, like, there needs to be people like that in the world, dude. Seriously, he's so fucking funny. I love Imong. He's a great dude, man. He's a great dude. But it's just, it's incredible, man. It's just incredible how obvious these issues were from the very fucking beginning, and somehow, some way, the people designing the game could just completely misspeak on everything. And it makes sense why the balance patches like never seem to solve anything, and the gameplay loop things don't get solved. They don't get it. They just literally never understood it. I mean, and look at the hero releases: Brig, Bap, Sig, Orisa can't get Headshot and Fortify. Like, the Overwatch 1 Team 4, like, they made a great game, but just had no clue how to maintain it. No clue, because it became something that was out of their imagination, which is good. It's a testament to what they built, But building it and maintaining it are two different things that are very difficult, to be fair. To be fair, they're very, very difficult to do. Not easy. Not easy at all. But it really is a testament to how great what they made was.
Secondary fire,
even with a cool play style, like that would just mean that other heroes just become outdated and unused, kind of like back in Double Shield.
Like Reinhardt play, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. So with the Zarya bubble,
something else I think that's really interesting here is this fight's been going on for a while. Neither tank has fallen. And the support have been doing such a good job at keeping the tanks up, because there's only one of them.
But to be realistic, though, like, I hate to say it, both of the tanks aren't doing anything. They're both AFK.
Really good being the tank player now. Like, the amount of times you get into the situation where
you're low on health. My guy, stop being neutral in the war, brother. You know the answer. Stop being neutral. You knew it then. I love you, buddy. You knew it then, and god damn it, you know it now. God damn it, you knew it the second you saw it. Because you know why? And this is where I'll give you credit. You woke up and you played this game every single day. You did. And I know he'll sit there and he'll say, well, like, I'm not like an insane top 500 player. But buddy, you were GM on tank and you would play it every single day. You were one of the better in the big picture, you were one of the better tank players in the world. And you knew this shit the second you saw it. And so did Hawk. So how in the world did the developer team miss it? Let's stop pretending. Let's stop.
Health. There's a bunch of the enemy players focusing on you, and
like, I don't want to be rude. Like, I don't care what their SRs are. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be some elitist piece of shit. But they're not doing anything. Neither of them are doing anything.
You're not being elitist. You're spitting facts.
That has to be something that you guys have kind of gotten in feedback, that from a support's point of view, you're able to dump resources into.
This is literally the meta that it looks like. The Rhine doesn't even exist. They do whatever they want. Like a Hanzo Widow, Zen, Bap, and Rhine's just there.
You know, Zen, you can kind of orb the tank and then focus on the damage. That
their exchange is gone. That's so funny.
Too, so I don't even sure.
It's so funny.
Like, I really don't like. I'm not analyzing their gameplay in any way whatsoever. But the fact that you're like people they're commenting like, see, look, they're doing great, but like
they're not doing shit. You know,
that's really cool.
They're just AFK.
Obviously, that's incredibly new. I think on live, like it's kind of displayed on the right.
Yeah, we're generally looking through this.
Go ahead, sorry,
God.
I was saying we're generally looking at anywhere we can improve hero-specific UI stuff like this, and we felt like this could use a big update and be a lot more readable.
Yeah, I think one of the things I'm most excited about.
Winston almost exploded on the jump.
Is it's not just on Zen,
I mean, he did. He fed,
also.
to be fair.
You see the portrait of
how do you not
the
feed
player
right now?
that you're healing. And so it's just a lot easier to kind of.
This week we started bringing up a thread again. Like, do we want to keep this? Actually, this has been around for a while. Is everyone still happy with this? So that's just an example
very
of like the
controversial.
core.
Like among the design team, there's a lot of back and forth on this one. So, but I think whether or not we keep a change like that in the game, I think what it speaks
is that up for discussion that it's not because
amount of systems
that needs to go. This is the stupidest shit. I'm just gonna say whatever's on everyone's fucking mind.
Yeah,
Overwatch is not the game that we just watched. That we just watched,
untouched, right?
Let's take out the point that they look like they were silvers. That was the most dog shit Overwatch I've ever watched. I don't care if they're bronze, silver, gold, diamond, or GM. That was dog shit.
What do you think? First looks, what do you think, man?
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. I mean, come on, man. Come on. Listen, we need more of this evil flats. Seriously. Like, this is the role that I've adapted. I don't care. You can't play nice and save this shit. You can't. And I don't think they want to hear, like, nice and kiss ass. And I'm not saying flats is, by the way, to be clear. I don't think that's what they want to hear. Like, to give Team 4 credit now, like, they've changed a lot. They've changed a lot, dude. Like guys, and I'm telling you, like, I've seen them over time. They have changed a lot. And I think, ultimately, this is what needed to happen. Like, Overwatch needed to implode. It did. It did. Because only Overwatch's implosion would create the change that needs to happen for them to make the game great. It's not evil to not sugarcoat every opinion you have. Yeah, but in the Overwatch community, it is. The Overwatch community, a lot of it for probably very valid reasons, tends to be a little bit more sensitive. right? You know, not everybody has to be in the mud, hard ass, whatever it may be, right? But in a game like Overwatch, where people tend to be more sensitive, not sugarcoating it can pose some problems for you, right? And that's just what it is. But that's okay, because like at times, like, and this is kind of the role that I've taken in the community, and I'm okay with that. I'll be on an island, but I'll speak my mind, and that's hopefully will be an important piece of the puzzle to help solving it. Because on the other side of the spectrum, you have a lot of people who will sugarcoat it. But just so you guys know, the game that we have right now is what happens when you sugarcoat it. I'm happy the hive mind is finally dissolving nowadays. I don't want to say it's a hive mind. Look, I'm not sure if that's what I want to say. What I will say is, speaking out against Blizzard in the Overwatch creator scene definitely goes against the status quo. And this is not a flame towards anybody, obviously. It never will be. It definitely goes against the status quo, and it's not like the cool thing to do. It's just not. And it definitely won't help you get opportunities at Blizzard, which if you're an Overwatch streamer, like the cream of the crop is like working with Blizzard. That's like what it is. But if it hurts the game in the long run, is it worth it? I don't think it is. So we need more of this, Flats. This is what we like filter off, and that's what's fun about group up. Truly, it is. And you know, people dog on Frito and I all the time for like going back and forth. For like there hasn't been a second where in my mind when I'm arguing with Frito that like I think less of him or like hate him or anything. Like the reason why I argue with Frito so much is because I value him very dearly and I want to change his mind. That's why I argue with Frito so much, you know, and that's what's so special about Group Up. I think Group Up is truly the only podcast, the only show where the core guys like us, I would say like the core guys, like the OGs are probably me, Frito, Flats, our Avengers group, right? Like we challenge each other, dude. We challenge each other, and I genuinely feel like we are the biggest show that's not gonna sugarcoat it, and that's why I love the show so much, because we leave it on, dude. And I think that's why people watch it, because they know we leave it on the field, and you know what else? They know that we're arguing from the player's perspective. Like for me, like that's been my whole thing. That's why I'm so critical all the time. I want to embody what it's like to be a consumer in the trenches in the game that consumes the content in this game. That's my goal. That's what I want people, I want people to identify with me for that. And I want to be like that because that's how I can learn the most about game design and game development and products, right? And I'm taking that knowledge and I'm trying to help Mindplex get off the ground with it, right? And we still have a long way to go, but that knowledge has gone a long way for me. And it's a lot of it's trial by fire. You got to take your hits and keep moving, right? That's what we do. But you know, we need more of this. We do, because he knew it right away. He knew it right away. Immediately, he knew. He knew immediately.
I'll be honest, I was a little bit skeptical when I first heard about 5v5.
And you know what, Flats? You should trust your gut more, dude. This was my gut instinct, too. And what I've learned, guys, over the years is to trust your gut. Trust your gut.
Pander, please.
You know, rip to the off tanks kind of thing.
Oh, don't pander.
I don't know, based off watching that
my goodness.
first map there on New York, I don't know. It looks quite spicy, this could be quite good.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited. Like,
come on, don't pander.
I will wait in the DPS queue. You know,
He's
as long as I gotta wait. You know, but now like seeing the tanks and seeing how aggressive you can play and push the pace. I'm excited.
Maybe I should go back to this.
To kind of now dive.
I'm not going to. I genuinely kind of want to turn it off. Like, I'm not gonna, like there's like a little inkling.
Yeah, I mean, well, super buff tanks.
BlizzCon in 2018, it seems like forever ago, is a push. How has the game mode changed since we last saw it?
we haven't made a lot of changes to the mode itself, at least as far as like the big rules go for it. But we've continued developing for it, so we have more than one.
I don't care what they're talking about. They just said they haven't changed anything. So fuck off.
That we'll even be looking at today.
Let's be realistic for a second.
We're really committed to the
tanks,
mode.
People don't like people when tanks are OP. Nobody has fun, right? Except the tank players. And even then, they're not having that much fun.
The interesting thing
if you're not dominating the other tank, then you're getting flamed.
From the outside, it sort of looks like it's.
There are so many levels of this is wrong. It's not even funny. From toxicity levels to the entire core of the gameplay has been changed.
In the map that makes this very special.
The way that the heroes are supposed to be played.
More as
that literally, that last third point fight was literally the most boring shit I've ever watched.
More than
it was boring.
He was more on the money than I was, dude. I think I was on Mayhem at the time, and that definitely caused me to speak with a filter. I'll be honest. Can I be honest with you guys? When I was on Mayhem, I had to speak with way more of a filter. It felt so... It felt so inauthentic to me. Not because of them, because of myself. That was one of the big reasons why, you know, I just my mental when I was on that org was deteriorating very quickly. Through no fault of their own, to be clear. But, you know, it's, you got to speak with a filter. You do. But that doesn't help get things done.
Really stood AFK. Chat. Somebody remind me at the end of the stream. Please remind me and I'll go.
Flat's got more of this right than I did when I talked about this, which is crazy. I didn't even think about the psychological elements of like solo tank. I just thought about the interactions in game.
Be really
to rewatch that fight because nothing happened
in here that I think can get played.
Literally
push.
nothing
that has to do
happened.
With just the
both tanks stood AFK
in the map, and also because of how quickly it moves.
Yeah, no, if you've never seen push
their
before,
dance got removed.
A robot
Tell me I'm wrong.
in the middle, both teams will come out and kind of fight for it, and then once you get control, you can.
I mean, I will say though, the teams were horrendously.
I think if the reaction is not strong enough from the community, they're going to keep it.
XQC,
it could change.
And me,
they do listen to us sometimes.
People. It was a massacre. I'll be honest, I was just AFK. It didn't really matter.
Little does Flats know, the game engine couldn't handle 6v6 at this point, so.
Same. When we had the map at BlizzCon, it was
Jacoby, thanks for the tier 1, my dude. I appreciate it. Goban, thanks for 100 bits. Gundam, thanks for the prime. And Reagan's Railroad, thanks for the 2.5 months. I'm gonna fucking put alerts back on. Fuck it. You guys wanna fucking comment on this shit?
I know, I see Silas' face.
Alerts are back on.
He's just like smiling. He's just like so giddy, like,
alerts are on again.
It's so fun, where I feel like push is gonna add a different type of element.
Yeah. I mean, I'm watching this. Yeah, I'm here. I'm fixated on the gameplay. I think, I mean, this is really deathmatchy. This does like we just, they're just going in there.
Look at this playtest,
like a good old brawl, and then obviously
no, don't say.
Like these aren't fucking. I'm sorry, these are not real people playing. Like this is ridiculous. Like you have silvers in this lobby. Like stop it. You can't get good playtest information from silver players. You can't. They're bad.
Deathmatch and brawl. It's deathmatch, not brawl. It's deathmatch.
Every single time, and it's just.
He's just standing in front of the bomb. Like
what I played back at BlizzCon all those years ago. Just with one less time.
It's just. This is not easier to follow. There's literally way more chaotic.
Like I'm somebody who's
so insane. So we ended up condensing all of the
I'm not unmuting myself to talk to Imong either because I don't want to like if his stream is being more positive, but I don't want to infect him. But I'm sorry guys, I can't be positive about this. I literally can't. Like I genuinely even said when I first started I want to see what it looks like and try. I genuinely want to fucking try, but it's just awful. Like how are you looking at this and saying this is easier to follow and looks fun?
You see somebody with green.
It's literally 4v4 deathmatch, throw in a tank. That's it. You know the fucking arcade mode? That's 4v4 deathmatch? It's literally just, it's that without the tanks.
Back and forth, but I noticed before there was like a circle. So is there like kind of capture points, like progress? Does that
spawn room for the team that was able to do it? You can kind of see it just off to the left here behind Reinhardt. So if the attacking team can push it over there, they'll unlock
watch any of these tanks.
And it gives them
and I really am not flaming like the players, okay? Like I'm not trying to be an asshole to like the players playing the game.
No,
but neither tank has made a single impactful play the entire game. Not one. I don't even think any of them have gotten a kill.
Yeah, but there is one. Yep, there is an additional detail there. It's
real talk. Has either tank gotten a fucking kill yet?
Before you lose your forward spawn. And we actually started it the way that you described it, but a lot of times the robot could just move back and forth across this one checkpoint, and it got like.
I've already been playing one for a fucking year, so now why am I make it two?
Spawn, so we kind of gave you a grace period in there, or made it a little bit stickier. But it was way too blatant.
This double bubble Zarya is sick.
She's incredible. I love her.
She's not incredible though, because if you just run fucking Widow, Hanzo She literally is useless. We watched her on the last fucking map. She literally didn't exist.
Like more so.
Yeah. So you have the same bubbles you had before, but they're both using shared charges. So yeah, we
That is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like actually,
use it. She tends to be a higher charge more often. I mean, this is a good example. But
so the win condition for push is whoever has pushed it the furthest by the end of time.
Overwatch 1 isn't in a great state. We haven't got content for fucking legitimately years. But apparently it's in a good state because it has 2 fucking tanks in it.
So now they're unlocking their forward spawn room right here.
The tragedy strikes. Yeah, I imagine these games go right down to the wire.
Just as definitely hectic there towards the end. This is going to be quite good for Overwatch League, I'd imagine.
I can't, dude. I can't. It's guys. We need to play a drinking game. Seriously, I don't drink as much anymore, but we need to watch this broadcast and take a shot every time a take aged like milk. Nobody asked for 5v5. Nobody. Not a soul. Nobody.
Imagine. This is... I enjoyed that. I really enjoyed watching that.
Yeah, you say it's good for Overwatch League. I'm gonna be honest with you, Stylus, for 2 fucking seconds.
Yeah, when you
here's the thing. Do you know how many fucking Overwatch League players just lost their job because this one change? Do you know how many fucking tank players literally are gonna lose their job because this one change?
See it there.
Think about that for 2 seconds.
Skill ceiling of the game.
Fucking good for Overwatch League.
Toilet.
Real fucking good. The game looks trash. These fucking changes look trash. Not only for competitive ranked players, quick play ranked players might like it, and probably just put out a fucking job. At least 20 fucking tank players in the Overwatch League. Good job, dude. Yeah, really.
It's got that Overwatch music where it kind of adds to the suspense.
He's like me, dude.
Mechanics and the map design is all kind of tailored to have that, and it makes it like really exciting.
Thanks, Contra. Dude, don't even worry about being mean anymore. We'll figure it out. We'll be fine. We're content creators. We make Overwatch content in different ways.
It's alarming how much he's like me, man. Holy shit. He's like me.
We can make other content for other games. We'll be okay. But these are people that have put years of their lives in to grind to become professional players.
Like we saw Zarya there on push. Like it's
trying to save a few bucks. So have the league format change. Have the game format change.
She looked unkillable all the time.
Cringe.
She was crazy.
She's really scary in this form for sure, and I think that's kind of what we're thinking for a lot of these, sort of off-tanky kind of characters before, Roadhog and.
We need it. People need to be loud about this because they even said they're open to talking.
It's worth noting that we're not.
Okay, they're people. They're not assholes.
Making them super aggro.
They're not assholes.
Pushing some of the more aggro tanks and making them a little tankier. So I mean, a lot of
we all just want the best. But this is nonsense.
More sort of matrix juice in the can, so she can use it a lot more. So that's an example of where we didn't just like give them.
Come on, Super. I have so much faith in Super here. Come on, please, dude. Tank players molding? No, everyone who plays this game should be molding. To be honest with you. Because your ass standing on fucking point now. Your tank is useless. You don't get to that position and you don't get to take gunfights. You're playing TDM now. Congrats, dude. Good luck.
Over the next few maps, but we want to drill down on a couple of the things we've already talked about so far. To help me do that now, we'll be joining
our Overwatch
League superstar Matthew Super.
So listen, Flats, here's what I'll tell you, buddy. You probably know this already. Trust your damn gut, brother. I look back and I was like, yo, I should have trusted my gut the second I saw this shit. I knew it was gonna be bad. So many people knew it was gonna be bad. It's just funny.
Everybody's favorite neighborhood main tank. How you doing, Super? Obviously, big news today. I'd love to get some of your initial thoughts on it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, first of all. I mean, the tank changes, that's definitely the one that, kind of stuck out to me. The fact that, only one tank, because I'm a tank player, and, my experience with tank, it goes up, it goes down. Sometimes you get bullied as a tank with 2. So I'm curious to see how that's going to progress and change to make it so that it's a lot easier for one tank to be, work properly and not have as many struggles.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that I think you watch any sort of tank player stream right now. You can sort of see.
His mic's not doing too hot.
Also, some of the downs here. Obviously, we saw, maybe some more power being shifted in the direction of the tanks, right? We saw Reinhardt with the double fire strikes. He's got some more of that charge control and the Winston changes. What was your thoughts when you first saw the fact that Winston now has a bit of longer range equipment to bring to the fight?
Yeah, I thought that was a little bit interesting.
Which is so bad. It's so useless, though.
Grab the Zarya from the experimental. I mean, at least in when I played the experimental, I thought that the cooldown needed to be shorter on that. But I like that in general. They're trying to give more power if it's going to be just one tank, because I feel like otherwise a lot of tanks like Zarya and D.Va, they would kind of struggle because the way they're designed right now. I feel like they weren't really made to be played solo, if that makes sense. But now I feel like if they do the proper changes, then I think it could actually be pretty good.
Okay, that's cool.
Absolutely. You saw there as well a couple of the changes. We mentioned Winston's Maze. We haven't really talked.
May was the first one we sort of checked into the build and we wanted to play with for a long time. So if you notice here, she doesn't actually fully freeze the enemy here at all. She still slows them, but she doesn't never go to a stun.
That's a good change, honestly.
Through compensation, of course, it does a lot more damage. So it's.
And although they hit us with this fucking boom, and then they're like trying to show like little things like, oh, we took away this thing. You guys hated that thing, right?
But you never actually get in that lockdown state. Like, okay, well, here's the free headshot. I guess I'm dead. And for her, it's really interesting too because she still has, at least right now, she still has that sort of cleave effect, the piercing that can hit multiple targets. So you're doing so much damage now.
So we don't take that out of the live game because you wanted to use that as an excuse to put it in Overwatch 2, because then now it's like, hey,
piercing through tank or.
Yeah, you might not like this stuff, but look what we did. We did the thing you asked for.
So it's kind of an interesting, still has an interesting back and forth with secondary fire as well. But as I mentioned, it's kind of the tip of the iceberg because what we're really playing around with, and this
I'm pretty heavily into like.
Was he wrong though? Was he wrong? Was he wrong? And the answer to that's no. He was not wrong, actually.
What it means to be a tank player, and I think. Talking about
still absolutely not. It won't happen. It literally won't happen. Because what he said,
I can see it here in little previews.
What he said,
next map is
what Jeff said,
really captures, I think,
was that if they tuned all that stuff back, then they'd have to look at heroes like Doomfist, Tracer, Ball, and they are countered by CC. So he's saying that they don't want to really change those heroes, and the only reason they would even have to change those heroes is because they won't have to get rid of all the CC.
Spent a part of their life there, so it's pretty.
So it's not going to happen. They'll tone it down if anything.
Overwatch version of.
But then they have to tone those heroes down too. That's what they're saying is there's trade-offs.
Vibrant club, you get to visit where Lucio's club is.
If anything is taught us about Overwatch, is when there's major trade-offs, they don't want to touch it.
Barbecue place, it's another map. We're just having a lot of fun creating different details and this aspirational version of this location.
You gotta understand, like you can't just go flame them on stream. Like that doesn't work. Not that he probably would anyways, but that was the most fair thing that could have been said.
So we're just having fun with these maps.
I think
they should have flamed them on stream. They could have stopped this shit from happening.
It's not gonna work. Because what they're saying is they could tone other stuff down, but then if they tone the other stuff down, the other heroes have to be toned as well. And there's so many things they'd have to tune in a row that would take literally years to rebalance.
Moving like Madara.
Obviously, I don't want you to give away too much.
Oh my god!
But we're not talking too heavily.
Why drop a tank and throw the game into entire balance on its head?
It's kind of a community.
Hi, we're on the same page.
If it was real, people can come there for free. He's a community.
Right,
so I do have a question for Jeff. Sorry to cut you off, Mitch, but I do have a question if that's fine. So if I'm pretty sure like way back in the day there was like an interview that I read that was like
2 tanks right now.
5 was too small and 7 was too big for the roster limit, and then 6 was perfect. But like I'm kind of curious like where along like the Overwatch timeline did that philosophy kind of change?
You know who
like,
said that, chat?
Was it like
Jeff?
People learning
I know that article he's talking about.
Like
Jeff said that.
All of this, yeah. I mean.
Can we get a mod check?
I mean,
Can we get a mod check for Jeff? Can we get a mod check, Jeff?
Before everything, and you could just play 5 Winstons. In fact, we had an internal tournament where that was the strategy. 5 Winstons hands, and it marinates for a while, making changes.
But playing 5 fucking Winstons is so different from actually having 6 players on the map. Like, guys, I'm sorry. The amount of cope that people have in these arguments to sit there and say, like, shit like, oh, I mean, well, we lost hero limits at one point, so you can pick 6 That's such bullshit. I'm sorry. It is such absolute bullshit that you would even attempt to make that analogy. Bullshit. Call it for what it is. Bullshit. I mean, just ridiculous.
Your opinion on this stuff definitely changes, so I think over time...
they cut away because they just watched the Winston explode.
Still keeping an open mind.
So they cut away from it? Are you kidding me?
Doing some of these kind of changes and then coming over...
You know what's really funny? They lied straight through their teeth in this broadcast. They're lying right now. They're lying. They sat there and they said, oh, we're still open to listening to changes, but they're lying because the game engine could not ever handle 6v6. Because they came out this year and said the optimization was not there. So are they just lying straight through their teeth right now, directly to the players saying, yeah, we'll listen, but we can't do it? Dude, like looking back on this shit, it's like, man... this just it pisses me off. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing: if one tank feeds, right, there's still a really good chance you win that fight. Because if they were low and you get another, you trade a tank right after, you can still win the fight. What this is showing is if that tank dies, they immediately lose.
I mean, I'm no stranger to peacocking. Look at what I'm wearing. But this is great.
You want to talk about and the toxicity and stuff isn't something I really talk about too much. Like, oh, that'll cause toxicity. It's not something that's big on, like, something I talk about too much. But to be honest with you, people are going to be micromanaged to all hell. It's going to be insane.
Second phase, all of a sudden, it's less about chokes and overpasses, and it's just
improve the options the players have to solve situations.
Are there going to be previous maps in Overwatch 1 that will be reworked, or?
We don't know.
Can you not say? Is that secret?
No.
Or?
I don't know.
Okay, fair
no,
enough.
the answer to that is no. They haven't even thought of that.
Look, you've got one less hero on the battlefield. Your maps are
he just talked about how they thought about a design philosophy. They'll change all the heroes CC and how they'll change. They change his hero CC, then they have to balance other heroes. That is not a hidden secret. They've never thought of that.
Like, you know, if you go too far one direction, right, it can seem quite barren. Here,
visually as well as gameplay wise.
This really has like a Dorado feel almost, right? We have sort of payloads sort of moving through under.
The thing I'm realizing more than anything is even though these players aren't like that good, obviously, like you can tell, like, you know, they're not very high level, obviously. The DPS players and the support players are actually making impactful plays here and there sometimes. The tank players have made no impact. Zero. Nada. So if you're talking about in perspective scale, if they also aren't making any plays, but the DPS can, and they're all around the same rank, and the support can, that tells me either tank is now extremely difficult to play, A, B, or just completely unimpactful.
It's so powerful. You can see where Widow is right there.
Or C,
so you have line of sight on everything up there.
There's something that I'm not seeing yet.
Is Universal ult charge nerfed, or is it just as a result of the
huge barrier Reinhardt? But certainly, yeah, should have healed there first probably, but you know, he went for it. Yeah, so like, there's a lot of changes we can make now.
Oh, what, the Hog made a micro mistake? That all of his teammates were also the same level, have all been making even worse mistakes? Oh wait, it's noticeable because it's a solo tank.
Maybe we can bring that back, especially in a world in the hero themselves now. Because if you get to win.
Listen, I am all for this crashing and burning. Because it has to happen. The fake culture that will just glaze has to implode. Like, and the community needs to see this. You need to, like, I hate to say this, but goddamn it, it's true. It's true. All of these things were there and prevalent, and so many people, Blizzard themselves, desperately tried to point the other way, badmouth certain people, do all this shit, and yet the second many of us saw this, we knew exactly what it was. Bullshit. So, like, watching, like, the takes age like milk and people look back and realize, oh, shit, wait a minute, like, a lot of this stuff actually was pretty obvious. It will hopefully implode, like, the superficial culture that's been created. It's ludicrous. And I want no part in that culture. Want no part in it. It's fake. It doesn't work. It's how you destroy things that you love. And this is why you don't pander, chat. This is why you don't pander, because then you end up in a lopsided game that's lost its identity, like Overwatch 2. It's so sad.
And be threatening, like, with all this extra damage, and just be hard to kill. You're just bringing space by existing.
What an animal.
Obviously,
wow, that was really exciting.
I'm curious if
both the tanks did a lot there to each other.
Tank player, and you know, you'll play your main tank about games like so. That's what I kind of wondered. Like, outside of just
that's totally what I was getting at.
Sort of balance a tank to make them feel powerful without just pumping numbers into their primary fight.
Yeah, I think that's probably a design philosophy that I'm maybe not qualified to talk about.
No, I think you are. I
wasn't actually asking you, but you can weigh in on it first.
Okay, yeah, just keep speaking. That's good. No, that's good. I'll stop speaking. That's good.
No, I see. I think I would take Super map balancing this game over Jeff Goodman in a heartbeat. Are we kidding? Don't be humble, Super. Don't be humble. Those guys had no idea what they were doing. No clue.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's like.
So it feels like almost responsibility as a tank player is almost ticked up a notch there, because you got to be a jack of all trades in some cases.
Especially if crowd control gets reduced to a point where you're looking for to counter something specific, like you're looking for.
Yeah, but now why is the stream talking about if we did this, if we made it all CC better? Like, did they just get the idea during the stream and now they're like, oh shit, that's pretty good. You're talking about that. Like, we should do that.
I think they did. What if this is around the time where they figured out the engine couldn't handle 6v6? Like, it seems to me like they scrambled into this because they had to. That's what this gives me the vibe of, like, hearing what they were saying. Like, they very clearly did not think about most of this stuff. Like, clearly it wasn't thought about. Like, very, very clearly. I bet you anything that's what happened. They're like, how can we make this look like a new game? Like, they knew the PvE wasn't coming out at this point. They knew it. So it's like, how can we make the PvP look like a new game? I don't know, dude. Yeah, here he goes. Let's skip to the end here.
Game after game after game after game after tank it is, they're going to have to learn those heroes every single time from the ground up. And what you're going to have is you're going to have inflections of SR within somewhere of 800 to 1,000, where you're going to be 1 week you have some 4,500 Chad Winston player on your team, then it goes to a Roadhog meta and they can't fucking aim on Hog, and all of a sudden they're a fucking 3,500 caliber player and they have to go all the way down the ladder and they're having that awful time losing game after game after game after game after game after game after game.
Flavor of the month.
Winston, and their team just flames the shit out of them, like, oh, you're forcing this dog shit hero, why are you doing that, you're ruining my games, etc. blah 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 blah. You are literally going to absolutely kill not only the tank player experience but those other players experience, because the way that the game has always run, as the reason there was 2 tanks, they have no idea what they're talking about. As they said earlier in the live stream, we can go back and find it, they said that that double main tank is oppressive. There has been no double main tank other than that weird goats rush that they did in contenders 2 years ago, where you played Winston, Ryan Goomba comp, and you just full send.
Not once was there ever a double main tank meta, ever. How could they come out on broadcast and say that? That's how I knew it was chalked right away. No clue what they were talking about. No idea. Literally no idea.
Into their team. No professional and high level teams have ever really played double main tank, because double main tank has been garbage other than the very week or two, like Arissa Ryan was good or whatever the fuck that was going on. It has never been like that. It never has been like that. It never will be like that. The fact that they think that is actually how it works is fucking scary, and that you're going to change the game on a level that is going to completely change Overwatch for what it is now. It will not resemble it at all when this happens, and you're either going to A, find a brand new player base, or and your old player base is going to be isolated away, or B, your current player base is going to somehow find a way to work with it, and the new player base and them are going to clash, because those new players are going to be trying to learn everything at once. Those old players are going to be very stuck in their old ways, because they're going to be very good at certain heroes and very not good at certain heroes, and it's going to create a power dynamic between players of both DPS support and tank, where it's going to not only increase toxicity, but it's going to increase or decrease your player experience based on what the meta is, to a level that is amplified 100 times worse than it is now. People hate when the meta gets stuck. They hate when it gets stuck because they don't like the heroes that are in it, whether it was double shield, whether they're not a fan of, if you're a Mercy player, you hate Rush. If you're a Lucio player, you hate Poke. Whatever it is, you're stuck in that meta even worse now, because if you don't play that one hero that you need, it is actually amplified 10 times more. Because before, you could kind of get away with it until you got really high up. You would still have some friction, you just have some pushback, but at least people can be like, well, I want to play meta, but that guy's not playing it, so we just have to deal with it. Now you're putting it on one person, and if that one person doesn't do it, you're fucking screwed.
But Flats, if you didn't get the correct tank synergy in Overwatch 1, you automatically lost the game. Dude, he literally, guys, it took me about a year to settle on this and make the thing that he realized, but he fucking predicted it the second he saw it. I didn't focus on the psychological aspect like he did here. I was more so focused on the frontline exchange and what needed to change on that and the actual gameplay loop. But the psychology, he fucking nailed. He nailed it. The second he saw it, he knew. How is it that it's taken this long for people to even start to talk about it at face value? You would think this is a clip from a season ago. But now he's at the point of apathy. He knew it the second he saw it. So did every tank player. So that begs the question, what the hell was going on internally at Team 4?
And even better yet, that one person is not going to be inclined to, because they will not be rewarded, because of what I just witnessed. The tank players on both sides made no plays for 4 maps. One guy made a play on second point on second map on Hog. He got 3 hooks, and that was the biggest plays of any tank player through the 4 fucking maps. So you're going to be forced as a tank player to play certain roles, to play the meta, and you're not going to be rewarded for it. You're just going to be picking the hero that you're going to have to pick to satisfy the rest of the group. The rest of the team don't get rolled, and then it's going to become a coin flip of who feeds first, who doesn't feed. The skill ceiling has to go through the roof at that point. But it's actually become so high that it's not going to be obtainable, because of how many different heroes you're going to have to learn and how many different play styles you have to learn for each and every single one of them. You're going to make the player experience so dog shit. I didn't think it was possible to make it worse, but you found a way. I should say congrats. Koga, thanks for the 5. Vinyata, thanks for the huge 5. Frostkoi, thanks for the huge tier 1 as well.
You want to know what happened? I'll say it. I'll say it. I'll say it. Fuck it. I got no ties to the fake culture anymore. I'll say it. You want to know what it is? You want to know what it was? It's the content creator space, especially in the Overwatch scene. You will not do well in this space if you have controversial takes that go against the status quo. And I'm not calling Flats a shill here, by the way, just to be clear. This is just what the content creator space in the world is right now, especially when it came to Blizzard and Overwatch 2. I did the same shit. I was willing to wait and see, and as was Flats, but he's been, to be fair, very honest about his opinions about playing tank the entire fucking time, to give him credit. Other people weren't so much, though. You can't have takes like mine were, or present shit like that, at least back then, and do well in the Overwatch scene. You can't. You just can't.
I need healing.
Richard, thanks for the pound. Because he would have gotten shunned down by a lot of people. It's not his fault. He's been honest the whole time. And honestly, like, I got to give Flats credit. He's played the neutral so well. Where he will entertain both ideas, he will entertain both arguments, and he will hear it out and change his opinion based on the facts. And it's a pain to deal with. That's some hard-ass shit to do. But I hope in the future he always trusts his gut. Because he was on the fucking money, man. He was more right about this than I was back then. I had to wait and see, and then I started arguing. But he was on the damn money from the beginning because he's a tank player. Of course he gets it. He was in the trenches as a tank every single day against Double Shield as fucking Reinhardt and Winston and all this shit. And grinding. And he was grinding. No one knows it better than him because he lives it every single day. So he fucking nailed this. Give him credit. Give him credit. Nailed it. Reminder, guys, check out Star Wars Hunters down in the description or with the QR code on screen. It really helps out the channel. Thank you all for watching today's video. I'll see y'all next time.